On Sunday, a tornado devastated a community in Alabama, but one pastor is working to put the pieces back together. The suspect in a fatal Illinois shooting is now in custody, but not before he led police on a chase that ended in a standoff. The Facebook post by a waitress led to an arrest of a couple on child abuse charges. We have the story.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. Today is Friday, March 8th, and the time is just about 6 o'clock. Let's check in with Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. Brandon, just a snowy day out there.
Snowy and messy and soggy and however adverbs you want to use to describe it, you're right. You name it. Let's take a look this morning. Last few hours across the area, we take a look at the satellite radar loop, and you can see lots of dark blue, which is some heavier bands of snow. This is a wet snow, so again, slushy, icy. Be careful this morning as you're traveling because you could run into some, especially in those northern counties, I-64, Mountain Parkway corridor, and then it's been expanded a little bit overnight all the way down into parts of southeastern Kentucky, southwest Virginia, and most of southern West Virginia. Visibility is an issue as well, so just kind of keep that in mind as you're traveling this morning, especially back into the Big Sandy. Snow still falling outside the WYMT studios here in Hazard, and it will continue for a little while until we get to those magic numbers down south. 37 there in Middlesboro, 34 Monticello, Williamsburg, and then we're going to get to 55, or excuse me, not 55, that's the average high for today. I wish we were getting to 55. 44 will be your high today, so that'll transition us back over to rain a little bit later on. Full forecast on the way here in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Brandon. After a standoff that lasted several hours, the suspect in a fatal shooting is in custody. Floyd Brown was arrested Thursday evening by Rockford police. He's charged with murder. The McHenry County Sheriff's Office deputy who was shot earlier in the day died. Deputy Jacob Keltner was serving a U.S. Marshals task force at the time of the shooting.
Sure. Jake was a great guy. He was dedicated. He was hardworking. He volunteered for the position that he served in. He came from a law enforcement family. He was hired in 2006. His brother is a law enforcement officer in DuPage County. His father is a retired DuPage County and is still affiliated with the United States Marshals. Comes from a long line of service. He's a dedicated guy. He's a dedicated family man, and he's just truly going to be missed.
The incident started at around 9 a.m. yesterday at an extended stay America Hotel. As Keltner was serving a warrant, an unidentified woman inside Brown's hotel room was also injured, but she has been released from the hospital. And a chilling confession played in the courtroom as hearings from the man accused of shooting Officer Jeff Koenig continued yesterday. Officer Koenig was shot in the face during a traffic stop in January. He spoke publicly for the first time as more evidence against Joshua Rosebush was introduced. Officer Koenig recalls the man said nighty-night before firing the shots.
I went down to the ground. My thought was to get to cover behind the vehicle. At that time, I didn't hear a second shot, but I felt an impact of another round hitting me in the shoulder, in the right shoulder.
Joshua Rosebush is facing 28 felony counts for his alleged actions on January 22nd. Investigators say Rosebush shot Koenig and was the subject of an hours-long manhunt that spanned 3 counties. The mother of an elementary school child in Los Angeles is outraged after the way her son was treated in the classroom. She says the educator in her son's classroom would not let him go to the bathroom. He was forced to relieve himself in front of the class. Tony Mongol says her son was then given trash bags to cover his clothes, and without his parents being alerted, he remained wearing them at the high school. And police in Tennessee arrested a couple on child abuse charges after investigating a Facebook post from a Kentucky waitress. The server says she observed a young girl with a couple and knew right away something was very wrong. She immediately went into action, helping take this staged photo with another table. One of her classmates saw that post and started digging at Metropolis 911 dispatch.
I got everything so I could run him and figure out where he lived at, you know, who he was, found that, and ended up contacting Parrish Police Department in Tennessee, and even looked further into it through social media to find his girlfriend.
In less than an hour, the little girl was found and taken from the home. Mark Lee Pierce and Jessica Woodworth have been charged with aggravated child abuse and neglect. And deputies have arrested a man wanted on felony charges. According to the Wise County Sheriff's Office, deputies found 44-year-old Judge Lawson last week hiding under several items of clothing inside his home in the Stonegate community. Deputies found a gun, several $100s in cash, small plastic bags, digital scales, and marijuana. Lawson was arrested without trouble. And communities in Martin County are still dealing with devastating flooding more than a week and a half ago. The Tomahawk community was hit hard. Some homes were flooded with not just inches, but feet of water. But volunteers are out in full force. I'll show you one group doing all they can to help. Scattered in this backyard,
it's just heartbreaking. It's a lot of sentimental stuff.
Is a story.
Yeah.
Many homes in this community,
they were just debris. There was still water.
Are becoming familiar with.
It's heartbreaking to deal with things like this.
But this story isn't about the destruction flooding left behind. No, it's about the hope.
They have neighbors helping neighbors.
People like Robin Renner with the Christian Appalachian Project have brought in.
Oh yeah, that's what we're here for.
More than 5 feet of water filled this basement.
The flooding here was about to like this level right here, so we had to take down basically the whole wall.
For William Grisales,
okay, cool. Yeah.
A Dumont, New Jersey native, what 5 feet of flooding caused.
I think so. Yeah.
Took him and others only 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was what we've been doing.
To remove.
The insulation and the walls would start to grow mold if you don't like take it down and replace it.
But there's lessons learned.
And also to hear like the stories of like the families as well, what they have to tell us. There's always something to learn from everyone, and so it's really been an honor to do that. It feels great. It feels like you're making a difference.
The lady this morning said that she's been bragging to everybody about how hard they were working. They got an entire room cleaned out like, less than a half an hour.
A half hour of work.
They would have had to do it themselves.
For a lifelong memory of help.
They have been so grateful.
And camaraderie that these volunteers will get to hang on to. And that was just one of the many houses workers with the Christian Appalachian Project have helped with. We have more information on CAP if you head on over to our website, WYMT.com. And it's a terrible sight. Trash and debris has covered many areas where Lake Cumberland reached record heights and has now receded. But the cleanup is on hold until the lake lowers even more. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on the tremendous job awaiting many in Kentucky's third largest lake.
We've got a major undertaking in front of us.
Burnside and Waitsboro Landing are known as the settling areas where the Cumberland River empties into the lake.
Oh yeah, we've made history here. So.
A record height for Lake Cumberland, but more water brings more trash. At Waitsboro Landing, you can't even see the road, the parking lot, or the boat ramp. And Burnside Marina has its own problems.
Gosh, I don't know that you can put a number on it, sir. I mean, it's just going to be dumpsters and dumpsters and dumpsters.
I asked the resource manager when the cleanup will begin and how long it's going to take, and he couldn't tell me an answer to either question. They're simply waiting on Lake Cumberland to go down even more.
We hopefully it's receding because, everybody's parking lots, ramps are all underwater right now. So.
And all this debris could lead to damage.
A generator or an engine can suck that up, and of course, it's like your car, it's going to overheat and shut down.
There's a bit of worry with the clock ticking down to summer.
We've got a season starting up here about 60 days or so, a little more, and we've got to get cleaned up and get ready for the people to come down and enjoy Lake Cumberland. We've got plenty of water for them right now, that's for sure.
A lot of water is usually a good thing on this lake. Now many just want some of it to go away. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
While most boat ramps are still closed, we're told it is possible to put a boat in the waters at several ramps and marinas in Wayne County. And this week, a tornado took away so much, and a pastor is trying to put it back. From Alabama, he's our latest American hero.
Without my faith, I'd have nothing.
David Babson is the pastor at Salem First Baptist Church in Alabama. 14 years ago, Pastor Babson nearly died in a horrible truck accident. He endured 140 surgeries to recover.
God, that's what I'm praying for. Give me the words to encourage them. Give me what I need to say to these people to bring hope into their lives.
His burden now? rebuilding his community, literally.
If the wood wouldn't have been tore off of it, that probably wouldn't be blowing up like that. Let's get it all tarped and see if it settles down.
That includes this work on Carolyn Reese's home.
Did they give you the water and stuff that we got?
Yes, they did.
Okay,
they did.
good.
Yes, they did.
Babson is also using his sanctuary as a relief center.
Do they need any more? Do they need anything else?
Taking in supplies and listening to his flock.
I felt so bad.
Yeah.
And I felt guilty because I had a home. I still have my home.
Right.
I still have my children, and I still have my grandchildren. And these people have absolutely nothing anymore. And I really felt guilty when I got there.
We got everything took care of where she don't have any kind of leaks. She's dried in and good to go right now.
It is work here that, after the worst tornado in nearly 6 years, knows no end.
The Lord, we just want to thank you for allowing us.
And right now, neither does the gratitude.
Thank you so much.
They didn't have to do it, but they did it out of the kindness of their heart. And for that, I'm so grateful and thankful.
That's what keeps me going. That keeps me trying to tell everybody that there's more to this world than just what's happening today. There's always tomorrow.
Well, thanks for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. And a woman who's been studying to become a registered nurse got some devastating medical news herself. We'll share her story with you.